Hey homies, I'm Ewashkiw from Adventure Yoga. Thanks for joining me today for this 45-minute yoga for strength practice. What kind of strength? Well, in this class, we're going to focus mostly on lower body strength. So primarily what's happening in your hip and creating more strength and stability there so that you can hold yourself up on your adventure. Unroll your mat and I'll see you there in just a few seconds. Please come into Untitled Vajrasana. I call it toe crusher. So to do that, come on into your hands and knees, tuck your toes under, press down through your hands, lift your knees off the ground just a little bit, and then push all of your toes down into the ground, and then bring your knees back down to the ground. As you do, stretch them back towards your toes so that the fronts of your shins get tight, and then bring your knees down, sit on your heels, and sit up. Uttita means like uplifted or elevated. So Untitled Vajrasana, it's elevated thunderbolt pose. I call it toe crusher because it really, you get to feel this in your toes. Welcome. So this will be about a 40-minute, maybe a little bit longer class. We'll see how it goes in this amazing setting. And we'll have a bit of background noise. There are sea-doos going by and boats and you know, people having a good time up at the lake. So please be aware. You'll hear some extra sounds and so be it. That's what we get for having this beautiful setting. Look at the kayak. I cleaned that this morning. Just distracting us from our toes. Sit up tall and steady your breath. You're wired to give in. So you're wired to lean forward, to like lift your butt off your heels, and make it feel less. We take the path of least resistance. This is just our nature. So what I want you to do though is like to step into it. To instead of resisting the feeling, step into the resistance. And feel more. Because we want to keep going, right? The adventures that we live in our life, they're going to face resistance, and our tendency will be to step back and to remove ourselves from that resistance. It's easier, right? But sit on your heels, sit up tall. We are going somewhere. This is an adventure, and this is where it starts. We face resistance, we face challenges, we keep going. Sometimes it feels good, like now. Vajrasana, untuck your toes. Ooh! Sit on your heels, sit on your feet with your feet flat. Just get a nice counter stretch for your toes. To do that, push your toes down. So sometimes the adventure, it's like this. It's like, oh, nice. Oh, airplane. It's not gonna land on us, don't worry. Push down through your toes, sit up tall. Relax your eyes, look down past the tip of your nose. Maybe even close your eyes if that's relaxing. Your body will take the path of least resistance. Sit up tall. We slouch because gravity and the path of least resistance is down to the earth. Sit up tall. Hold yourself up. When we go on this adventure, this class, your life, we will face resistance. And your tendency will be to give in, to take the path of least resistance, to avoid the challenge. But all adventure is filled with challenges. It's filled with things that we need to decide. Are we going to step up here, or are we going to step back? This class is about stepping up. That's where we find our strength. Inside, through practicing, through challenging ourselves, and through facing the resistance rather than avoiding it. Giving in. Sit up tall. Keep reminding us, because gravity pulls us down. We give in. Sit up tall. Stand up tall. Come into Tadasana. You can do feet together or feet hip distance apart, as is your practice. Stretch your arms down at your sides. Tadasana, look straight ahead. It's a little bit sunny, so I'll be squinting a little, but there are clouds too, so might play with our coloring a little today. We'll see what happens. Bend your knees a little, lift your right leg up, going to Garudasana. Eagle pose. Wrap your right leg over your left. Wrap your right foot behind your left calf if you can. Hook your right arm underneath your left and wrap your wrists if that's available. Often I have you squeeze your legs together here. Today I want you to push your legs out into each other and then resist that pushing out by hugging your hips in. And then start to bend your right knee more, flex at your hip, and bring your knee and elbow to touch if possible. All the wavering and the wobbling here, that's the point though. It's to help us build strength. Push your legs out into each other, hug your hips in, and slowly come back to Tadasana. Lift your torso, unwrap your arms and your legs. Whew, shake it off. Feel that work in your left leg. That's the strength we're building there. Whew, good times. Second side, bring your feet together. Bend your knees a little, lift your left leg up. Wrap your left leg over your right, and if possible, hook your left foot behind your right calf. Take your left arm underneath your right, and if possible, hook your wrists. Path of least resistance is generally to just give in and twist and fall. To help you find more strength, push out with your legs, hug your hips in. And then start to bend into your left knee. Bend at your waist, flex at your hip. See if you can bring elbow and knee to touch. And it doesn't matter, even on this side, just like the first side. It doesn't matter if you get your elbow and knee to touch. It doesn't matter if your eagle is doing what mine is doing, which is like walking around the dog. All of that work, that wavering, that wobbling, is building strength for you in your hip, in your knee, in your ankle. Slowly come up to Tadasana. And then shake it off. Doesn't have to be fancy Tadasana. Shake it off. Separate your feet a little bit. Tadasana. Bend your knees. Stretch your arms forward. So it's like Utkatasana with your feet apart. So sit deeply. Move your hips back, sit low. Cool, and then take your hands, touch your outer hips. So not your butt, it's part of your butt, but the side of your butt. Now, push your legs out without moving your knees out. So look at your knees. They're gonna wanna go out, right? That's the path of least resistance when you push out. Instead, hug your legs in as you push them out. Notice that your outer hips engage if you're doing that. So hug in and push out. Then we get our outer hips firing up, stronger. Stretch your arms forward again, and keep that work of thighs hugging in and legs pushing out. Just do your best. And then stand up. Whew, good times, right? Relax a little. Let your legs get the blood flow back in. Stand at the top of your mat. Have your feet hip distance apart. Tadasana. Place your hands on your waist. Hug your elbows back. Push down through your feet. Lift through your knees to engage your quads. And then flex at your hip. If you bend your knees to touch the ground in Uttanasana, bend your knees here. Keep folding forward, and then bring your hands down to the ground, Uttanasana, with straight legs or bent legs as you need so that you can touch the ground. By touching the ground, it helps you open up the backs of your legs, your hamstrings, a little bit more than if your hands are off the ground. And that gives you access to strengthening your quads more as well. Step your right leg back for a lunge, Banarasana. Step your right leg back. Left knee over your left ankle. Come up on your fingertips and look forward. push down through your feet, lift your torso, bring your hands onto your waist. High lunge, stretch your left knee over your ankle, Stephen. Push down through your right toes, take your left hand, make a fist. Since it's yoga, I call it a peace fist. It's not for fighting, it's for helping. Touch outside your left knee with your peace fist and push out into your left hand. But keep your knee going straight ahead. So that's hugging in and pushing out happening there. Take your right hand, make a peace fist, touch your outer right butt, your outer right hip. Mine's like jelly. I should do something about that. What am I gonna do? Hug my right leg in and push out with my outer right hip. Oh, I made it into not jelly. Nice, it's still a bit soft. It's harder to do on your outer right hip, but that's all right. Bring your hands down. Whew, it's a lot, right? Step forward, Uttanasana, fold forward. Step your left leg back, other side. Banarasana Lunge. Set it up with your hands on the ground, look forward. This is Banarasana. It's done with your hands down. Push down through your feet, lift your torso, bring your hands onto your waist. This is a stage of Hasta Padasana. When you stretch your arms up, it becomes Hasta Padasana, but we're just gonna do this variation, call it high lunge often. Cool. Take your peace fist with your right hand, touch outside your right knee. Push into your hand. That's gonna fire up your outer right hip. You can test it. You can touch your outer right hip and see if it's firing up. And then take your left peace fist and touch outside your left outer hip. So it's glute medius, glute minimus. That's the muscles that we're working to feel engage here. Mine are not engaging in my left leg. I'm focusing so much on my right leg. So hug your left knee in a little and push your left hip out. Might be counterintuitive to push it out, but it's working to create the stability, that strength all around your hip. Bring your hands down, step forward, Uttanasana, fold forward. Back to Banarasana on the first side. Step your right leg back, lift your torso this time. So come back to high lunge. Bring your hands onto your waist. Bring your hands in front of your heart. With your right foot, push, stretch your left knee forward, make your legs strong, hug your knees in, push your hips out. Lift through your spine, twisted lunge. Hook your right arm outside your left leg. Touch with your right arm, push down, lift your torso and twist, and push with your left leg into your right arm. Push your outer left hip out and feel that resistance with your left leg and your right arm. Push your push your left leg over to the right. That's the path of least resistance, right? So you have to resist that. Resist with your left leg, push into your right arm. And that's gonna help fire up your outer left hip. Come back to center, touch the ground, and let's do a jump switch. Why not? That'll sound great on the microphone, Stephen. So on your fingertips, come up on your fingertips, and then get a little bounce, like you got a new stereo, and then jump switch or step switch. So lift your hips, change your legs in the air, and try and do it super softly so that the microphone doesn't go ka-kunk too loudly for you. We're gonna do that twice more, so I gotta really practice being light. Get a little bounce, jump switch or step switch. Oh, that was better. Takes more core, more strength in your arms and your belly to hold you up. Get a little bounce, we gotta do one more. Jump switch. Oh, left toes got a little heavy there. So now, sorry, we got right leg forward, left leg back. Look forward, lift your torso, bring your hands in front of your heart. Push through your left foot, stretch your right knee forward, lift through your spine. Twist to the right, touch your left arm outside your right leg. Push down with your left arm, lift your torso and twist. And then notice what's happening in your right leg. With your left arm, you're pushing your right knee over to the left. And if you didn't fight that, if you didn't use your strength, it would just go. Eventually you'd probably hurt your knee. So push your right knee back into your left arm. Resist. That's going to get your outer hip engaged so you can twist more and feel stronger. Because you are. Come back to center. Touch the ground. Oh, be careful. I got a little, I think they're called red-headed oak worm crawled on my mat. Step back. Stand up into Tadasana. Just gonna move this little buddy. I'll show you. Oh, he's gripping onto the mat. Come off. I'll show you. It's this little fella. They eat the oak leaves, and we have a lot of oak trees around here. All right, I'm just gonna put it back over here so that it maybe goes away. And then I'm gonna come back to class with you. Cool. Fun little distraction. All right, stand at the top of your mat. We're gonna play with something a little bit here. Have your feet about hip distance apart. Stretch your arms up overhead. Reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Step your right leg back for a lunge. Lift your torso. Bring your hands to your hips. So this is what we're gonna play with. We're gonna step forward, keep your right knee lifted, and have your right foot off the ground. Step forward, lift your right knee. If your foot comes down in that transition, no problem. Now keep your right knee up. Move your right knee over to the right knee over to the left. Move your right knee back behind you. Move your right knee forward. And then keep your hands on your hips, step back to the lunge. So here we're working to build some mobility strength in our left hip. Also works in our right too. Same thing, same side, step forward, lift your right knee. This time move it to the left. Doesn't really matter what we do, move it back. It's just about moving. If you need to use your arms for balance, do. Move your right knee forward, right knee out to the side. Lunge, step back, hands to your waist. Step forward, lift your right knee, move it around. Oh, move it to the left, right, forward, back, whatever, move it. The movement is what's helping you fire up your left knee, left hip more. Step back to the lunge, bring your hands to the ground. Step forward, step your left leg back. All right, lift your torso, hands to your hips. Stretch your right knee over your ankle. And get ready, because it's the same thing. We're gonna step our left knee forward, keep our left foot off the ground, as best as you can. All right, do it. Step forward, lift your left knee, keep your left foot off the ground. Again, you can use your arms for stability here. They don't have to stay hands on hips. Move your left knee over to the left. Move it over to the right. All that wavering and wobbling, that's what we want. Move your left knee back. That's our strength work. Move your left knee forward. And then hands on hips. Step back to lunge. Yeah, good times. Gotta do that twice more. Step forward. Oh, that was loud, sorry. Step forward, lift your left knee. Move your left knee to the right, to the left. Move it back behind you. Move it forward and back to the lunge. So I guess I didn't move the little worm, they're called worms, far enough away because it's coming back. Hopefully it will avoid my mat this time. There's no oak tree over here. All right, step forward, lift your left knee, and move it around, some. Because remember, it's in that movement that we feel the instability, and the resistance is to hold on, rather than to just collapse. And so we gotta resist. Keep going. This is the adventure. Lunge, again. Bring your hands down to the ground, and downward facing dog. Step it back. Push it up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Well, that feels good, doesn't it? Find the balance in your legs, in your hips, in your stretch. Because we're gonna go back to one-sided work again. Walk forward halfway, stand up. Stand with your feet together, wherever you are on your mat, top of your mat. Vrikshasana, turn your right leg out. Bring your right foot inside your left leg. Bring your hands to your heart for Vrikshasana today. Push your left leg into your right foot. And the tendency here is to just let that take over. Take less work. So resist, push your right foot into your left leg, push back with your left leg, and all of that makes your lower body stronger so you can hold yourself up. So we can lift ourselves up. Push down through the ball of your left foot. See what happens. Lift your left heel up. Oh yeah. And bring it down. Woo! And find your balance. It's a thing we do here on the lake because you wave at people going by. So, sorry, I'm in class, I gotta wave. They're like, he's wobbling a lot in tree pose. I wonder if they saw I did this. We're doing it again. Find your balance, lift your heel, and bring it down. Tadasana. Bring your left leg up, Vajrasana. Got some waves coming in now, of course. Bring your hands in front of your heart. And now the tendency is here is to let your left foot take over, your hip pops out, your right knee moves in, all kinds of awful alignment stuff going on there. So let's work against the tendency of least resist. The path of least resistance is not what we want here. We want to resist, hold it together, hold ourselves up. Push your right leg into your left foot. Push back with your left foot. Feel how that helps balance things out and stabilize you. Push your right leg back into your left foot again. Hands to your heart. Stretch up. Vajrasana. Find your stability here so that we can destabilize and see if we have the strength to hold it together. You're not supposed to have perfect strength today, right? That's why we're doing strength building. Push down through the ball of your right foot. Lift your right heel. Oh. Bring your right heel down. Sorry, that might have been loud. I might try and fix that loud whoa in post. Steady yourself. Push down through the ball of your right foot. Lift your right heel. And come down. Shake it off. Good times. Shake it off. Stand at the top of your mat. Stretch your arms at your sides. Tadasana. Just a little bit. Got a little flow here. Step your right foot back a little bit. Come onto the ball of your right foot. Stretch your arms up. Warrior 3. Flex at your hip. Lift your right heel. Lift your right foot. As you flex at your left hip. Work to keep your body straight as you come into the pose, so you don't have to find that once you're here. Enjoy the movements of your foot and ankle and hip. That's the stability. Draw your right knee down. Draw your right shoulder down so your body is as straight and parallel to the ground as possible. Touch your hands to the ground, bend your left knee. Pull your right knee in, we're going to Hasta Padasana. Shoot the duck. Bend your right knee, pull it forward. Bend your left knee, walk your hands back, pull your right leg through, stretch your right leg out in front of you. Hasta Padasana is hand to foot pose, so let's get our hands to our feet if possible. Hug your legs in, stretch up through your spine. Hasta Padasana. Enjoy the wavering. Standing splits, bring your hands down, unshoot the duck, and lift your right leg. Walk your hands forward so they're underneath your shoulders roughly. Stretch your head down, lift your right leg up. Work to keep your right knee facing down though, rather than allowing your right leg to turn out. Turning your right leg out, that's the path of least resistance. Instead, you got to use your inner thigh to turn your right leg in, hug it in, and then use your butt to lift your leg higher, but resist the turning out. See that? Resistance work comes in everywhere. Bring your right leg down. Uttanasana. Feel totally off balance here. My right leg definitely feels longer than my left here. Oh, that feels good. We'll balance that out. Bend your knees a little, hands to your waist. Stand up. Feet together, Tadasana. Balance that out here. Step your left foot back a little, push down to the ball of your left foot, lift your left heel. Stretch your arms up. Warrior 3. Shift your chest, your arms forward as you lift your left leg. Flex over your right hip so that you can fold. Get your body parallel to the ground. Draw your left knee down. Draw your left shoulder down. Stretch out. Vajrasana 3. Embrace the wobbles in your right leg. There's your strength building. Hands down, Hasta Padasana. Pull your left knee in as you bend your right knee. Walk your hands back. Stretch your left leg out in front of you. Hold your left foot with your hands, if possible. You can do one hand, you can do no hands, or you can do two hands. If you've got more than two hands, you can do that too. Uttita. Urdhva Prasarita, Eka Padasana, that's it. Bring your hands down, standing splits. It's a fun one. Urdhva Prasarita, Eka Padasana. It means upward leg, one leg. It's not really what it means. It means like upward, wide, one leg. Urdhva Prasarita, Eka Padasana. It's a funny one, right? Bring your left leg down. Uttanasana. Bend your knees. Bring your arms forward. Lift your torso. Stretch your arms up. Utkatasana. I've got my feet apart because that's where I was. It's good. If you're there, cool. If your feet are together, also cool. Stay here. We're going into Parsvo Tanasana. Step your right leg back. Straighten both legs. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Set up for Parsvo Tanasana. So heel to heel. Right toes turn forward a lot. Face forward. Hug your inner thighs in and push your outer legs, your upper legs out. Engage your outer hips. Feel them. Push out into your hands. Hug your knees in. Oh yeah, there we go. Hope you got it too. Hands to your heart. Push through your feet. Stretch your chest forward. Fold forward. Parsvo Tanasana. Today, bring your hands down either to the ground or hold your left leg. Stretch your chest over your leg and down your leg. Take your left hand onto your left hip and hook your thumb into your left hip crease. Push your left hip back and over to the right with your left hand. Take your right hand outside your left foot. That's right. We're revolving our triangle. Got some waves making the boat a little noisy, but hope it's not too loud for you. Touch your right arm to the outside of your left leg. So there's actual contact here. Push them into each other. Push back with your left hand. Push your left hip over to the right, and then resist with your left leg so that you can feel your muscles under your left hand. Then lift your head, lift your left shoulder, look up. You can stay here or lift your left arm up, stretch long through your spine. Push with your right arm into your left leg, push your left leg in your right arm. Lift through your left shoulder. Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolve triangle. Unrevolve your triangle, left hand down, right hand outside your left foot. Lift your torso and step forward. Utkatasana, bend your knees. Stretch your arms up. Going back to Parsvo Tanasana, step your left leg back, straighten both legs, bring your hands in front of your heart. Square your hips, stretch up through your spine. Push through your feet, lift up. Hug your knees in a little, push your legs out and hug your knees in. Yeah, I like those repetitions. Hug your knees in, push out, hug your knees in. Really like that. Coming back to that first stage a second time, I think it helps a lot. Flex at your hip, fold forward, bring your hands either to your right leg or down to the ground. and then fold over your right leg. Stretch your spine long along your right leg. Parsvo Tanasana. Intense side stretch, or just normally we call it pyramid pose. Take your right hand this time. Hook your thumb into your right hip crease. Push back and hug your right hip over to the left a little. Resist with your right leg so that you feel your muscles fire up underneath your right hand. And then take your left hand and bring it outside your right foot so that your left forearm and your right shin touch. And then push your right leg into your arm, push your arm into your leg, push back into your arm, and lift your right shoulder and twist. Lift your head, look up, maybe open your right arm up as well. Trikonasana. Keep the work of your right leg, left arm, pushing and resisting. Help you stabilize. Go on your adventure. Untwist, bring your hands down, lift your torso, and step forward. Whew. And relax a little. Come down into Malasana. Turn your feet out, bring your hands to the ground, lower your butt. Malasana, today's variation, is brought to you by, just today's variation. The closer you can get your feet together, the further you can take your pose to other places. Maybe not on a trip somewhere, but into other shapes. So if you can bring your feet together and keep them on the ground, keep your heels down, you can bring them closer together, maybe even all the way together, but that's not today's goal. Just so you know. Lower your arms, down your shins, bring your hands to your heart, stretch up through your spine. Malasana. And because it's strength class, we're gonna work our hips one more time in a pose we might not normally think about working our hips. I gotta turn. Place your hands on the ground in front of you. Gonna do Kakasana. So lift your hips. I gotta get my hands way forward, center of gravity thing. Then get your hands on the ground so that when you shift forward, your shoulders are roughly over your wrists. So here, we get to play that resistance. Natural tendency here would just be for our knees to spread out, right? That's just because they're open already. Gravity's gonna push us down. So resist that. Hug in with your knees, push back with your arms. And that's gonna get us really strong in our hips. So then lift your heels, come right up onto your big toe tips, shift your weight forward, but also pull your chest forward. That's where your strength lives. Open it up, bring your feet off the ground. Bend your knees. Elbows bent, Kakasana. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring your feet down instead of jumping back. And sit down. Sit down, stretch your legs out in front of you. Bring your hands onto the ground, beside your hips, and sit up tall. Tadasana. Pull your right knee back, pull your right heel back, hold your right knee, hold the front of your right ankle with your left hand, and then pick your right foot up off the ground, place your right foot on your left leg. Then we're gonna get the top of our foot down there. So take your hands onto the top of your toes and turn with your right hand and left hand, turn your leg. So the top of your foot is on the top of your left leg. Then slide your foot back, move your knee over to the left. So if you take your right hand, move your knee over to the left, it's gonna help slide your right foot up your left thigh. And then think about your left leg. If yours is doing what mine is doing, it's the path of least resistance. It's turning out to the left. So turn it in so that your knee and toes face up. Half lotus. Bring your hands back on the ground beside you. Stretch up through your spine. Stretch your left leg straight. You can stay here. It's a great place to be. If you'd like to take it into the forward fold, you can. You have a choice to reach forward and grab your left foot, or take your right hand around, hold your left foot, And with your left hand, hold your left. With your right hand, hold your right foot. With your left hand, hold your left foot. Triang Mukha Padi Parsvo Tanasana. Triang Mukha Pada Parsvo Tanasana. Hard one to say. So upright or in one of these variations. If you're in the forward fold, lift your head, let go of your feet, and everybody stretch your right leg out in front of you. Bend your left knee, pull your left foot back, hold your left foot with your right hand, left knee with left hand, then pick your left foot up, place it on your right leg. Now we just have to turn it over a little. So turn on your left with your left leg, so the top of your foot comes onto your right leg, roughly. With your left hand on your left knee, we're going to move your left knee over to the middle of your mat, or not all the way, but in that direction, while you pull your left foot up your right thigh. Clothes might get stuck in here, it happens. If you need to adjust, adjust. Place your hands beside you, look at your right knee. It's probably doing what mine is doing, path of least resistance, turning out to the right. So turn it in, so your right knee faces up, your right toes face up. You'll feel more in your left leg there. If it's too much, you can turn it out a little, stretch up, and you can stay here, or fold forward and reach for your right foot. You have a couple choices there. You can hold your right foot with both hands, or take your left hand back behind you, and maybe you can hold your left big toe with your left hand, and then fold forward, hold your right foot with your right hand. Triang Mukha Pada Parsvo Tanasana. You can be here with holding your left foot behind your back, or take your left hand to your right foot. So it's almost like Vajrasana. And if you're in the forward fold, sit up, let go of your feet, stretch your left leg out in front of you. Place your hands on the ground behind you, lean back on your hands, bend your knees, have them pretty far away from your hips. We're just going to rock and roll our knees from side to side. It's like a seated Vinyasa. Just let them go from side to side, like windshield wipers, which is what we sometimes call this pose in English. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but not really sure that I fit in with the modern world where people think everybody wants to hear the crappy music they're listening to blaring from their boat or on the beach or from their bicycle or whatever. And there. Old person rant. Alright. Come back to center, let it go. Lie down on your back. Bring the soles of your feet together. Padasana. Place your right hand on your belly, left hand over your heart. Supta Padasana. Keep your feet together here and relax. If it's relaxing to close your eyes, close your eyes. Slow your breath down. Make your breath more deliberate. Make your breath almost like a hug. Like you're using your breath to give yourself a hug from the inside. As well, we need this strength to go on our adventures. We also need this softness to look after ourselves, to look after each other. Shavasana. Open your legs, open your feet out,
Straighten your legs. Bring your arms down to your sides. Turn your palms up. And rest. Close your eyes. That will allow you to release and relax. Relax your legs. They're allowed to turn out now. Follow the path of least resistance and let go.
Start to deepen your breath. Move your fingers and toes. Move your wrists, your ankles. Move your shoulders. Turn your legs in and out a little. Move and stretch as you like. Really feel your breath as you take full, long breaths to wake yourself up. When you're ready to sit up, bend your knees, turn to your side, and make your way up to seated. When you get there, bring your hands in front of your heart in the prayer position, Anjali Mudra. Have your eyes soft or closed. And just take a couple of breaths here for yourself. Our practice helps us see the strength that we have, build the strength that we have, and figure out what to do with it to help us on whatever adventures we want today and tomorrow. Despite how noisy the waves get, we keep going. Thanks for practicing. Namaste. In any adventure, you will face resistance. Yoga helps us find the strength to push back and to keep going and face up to the challenges, because that is the path we've chosen. That's the adventurous life. Thanks for practicing today. If you would like to do another class with me, there's one you can click on, add it to your watch later list. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, just take a second, click my picture over there, subscribe. If you've got any questions about this class or any class, put it in the comments below. I'll get back to you. Cheers. See you soon.